All right, Thursday night Twilight race for fun, for pride. We've got two courses that we do. One of them's over in the refuge. We do 5 laps. They're each just over 3 miles. Here at this 0.8 mile track, which really is just a half mile from the other one, maybe a mile. So at this track, it's about 0.8 miles. It's kind of a 5-turn course, which is great. We do 40 minutes and then 3 laps. So 40 minutes plus 3 laps. The great thing about this is if you get smoked and you get dropped, you could chill out and wait for the group to come back around and hop back on. You won't be competing against everyone that's a lap ahead of you. But if anyone else got dropped with you, you'll be competing against them. Great course, fast. A couple of out here warming up. Also making sure there's no gravel or sticks in the corners. There's a little debris last week that kind of caught my attention every time, so brought a little broom and swept up a little bit, and we picked up sticks, and now we're just warming up. The usual 2 suspects who almost always win both of the top spots, both of them are gone today. Nico and Justin. I got 3rd last week. Doesn't mean I'll win this week. There's several of us, I think there's about 4 or 5 of us that are pretty much neck and neck. It all depends on who has a good day and who has a bad day, or who gets away at the right time. So I barely eked out Adam last week because he ran out of gears at the end. He was on his gravel bike, on road tires though. That was smart move number 1, but he was on his gravel bike, so ran out of gears quickly. And this is the finish stretch. I was just able to outperform at the top end. He would have smoked me otherwise, but we'll never know, will we? But maybe today we'll have a different setup. So I'm not going to use the bite mount for this. I'll be using my chest mount. Hopefully get some footage and show you a little of tonight's race. I'm not sure how many people will be here, but we'll find out soon. What's up, Jeff? Start my computer at the culverts. So going into today's race, I'm pretty confident that all 3 of these guys I'm competing against are all stronger sprinters than me. I know Big Dog for sure, who's in the front there, and Matt Golson are stronger sprinters than me. And then behind me is Jeff with a G, who we're about 50-50 I think on finishing sprints, but I haven't really sprinted heads up with him in a long time. So I know going into this that I really don't want to come down to a field sprint out of the 4 of us, because I really don't have much of a chance to take the win. I'm much better on long efforts. However, on this flat course, it's hard to get away. And later on you'll see I tried several times just to make a little gap, and boy, it just wasn't a good day for that. So anyway, I was going to have to just save it up until the end and do the best I can at the sprint, and I'll reveal later kind of how that one ends up. Most of this race, not too much happens. We got Big Dog in the front with Matt behind him and Jeff behind me, so I'm in 3rd position here. And fairly early on, within the first 3 or 4 laps, I think Matt had a kind of a bad day. He did a lot of physical labor that day, helping people move or something, so he was kind of smoked coming into it. So he dropped off kind of early. And then Big Dog fell to the back, and it was Jeff and I up at the front rotating for the big portion of this. And you'll see he's in the front here, Big Dog is, but he falls back and you don't see him for a big chunk of the race. And then he reveals himself later. So I knew that he was going to have some good legs at the end. So I put in some efforts to try to make him burn some of the sugars. And I'll show those in a little bit here. For most of this, I'm gonna cut forward. You can see what lap we're on by the lap counter up there. And I'll add some commentary if there's a good spot for it. Much like the previous week that we raced on this course, the wind was out of the northwest. It wasn't as bad. On this day, it was kind of 2 to 4 mile an hour winds. It was enough of a factor that when you came around this corner, it really wasn't a great feeling to be in the front. It felt better to be hunkered in behind somebody else. But also at the finish straight, you did have a little bit of a tailwind. So just a couple laps later, the big dog puts in an attack here. You can see I'm going 25 and he and Jeff are pulling away from me. Again, this is the spot where I think it's ideal to attack as we make this turn. One of my goals with these is to try to maintain as much speed as possible through the turns. And you can see that gives me a big advantage. If I can maintain my speed, I can automatically make up some time. But you can see I got to put in a hard effort here, holding 27-28 into a headwind just to close up that gap. So that's a real good spot to put in the attack. Luckily I was able to close it off this time. So through here the big dog continues to push the pace. Again, I try to maintain speed, so I take these turns wide and I stay on the gas as much as possible. And he pushes us all the way through this section here. You can see with that crosswind it's best to, so the wind here is from left to right, so draft a little bit off to the right side. Another thing that's really great about racing this time of day is you don't have to look over your shoulder necessarily to see who's behind you. You just look at the shadows on the ground. You can just look out of the corner of your eye and you know if someone's back there most of the time. There's a section where you're in shadows because of the trees, but other than that, for this course, it's easy to see if someone's back on your wheel. So that's pretty nice. But looks like the initial attack is over. He's shutting it down a little bit, calming the speeds down, catching his breath. So fast forward a little bit, I spent some time at the front. Nothing too aggressive, just maintaining speed. Jeff spent some time at the front. We're lap 7 of 20, so 15 minutes in now. And our speed's not too high right now, 20 miles an hour. My heart rate's calming back down, 150, 147. Take a little sip because my heart rate's getting kind of low and I'm feeling good. Ready to put in a little bit of a dig here as we come into that, my favorite corner. Spike the power a little bit. Let's see what kind of speeds I get to here. Up around 850 watts at the peak there. Yeah, 27, 28, that's pretty good. So then I just stay on the gas through this whole section. And I don't know who's behind me as I'm coming through here. We can see way in the distance, we see Matt Golson. He had fallen back, took a breather lap. I'm not trying to kinship them all, I'm just trying to break away from the two fellas that are on my tail. This course is so much fun. Fast and flowy. So I cruise to this corner and now we get to see the shadows, and we got anybody behind? There he is. There's shadow number 1. And then let's see, do we get another one? There he is, shadow number 2. Right, so it's hard to break away on this flat course. So I put in that little dig to see what would happen. Looks like everyone's feeling pretty good and they're able to stick with me. Yeah, through the middle section of this race, we're just taking turns. Mostly Jeff and I. Pace isn't anything too amazing.
There he is.
Took a while before I saw the big dog again. He was back there hanging out, saving up. See, we're 31 minutes in here. So 36 minutes, lap 16, so getting closer. So to this section here, I wanted to see if these guys were paying attention. We're getting kind of close to the end. So I just gradually start building up. No dramatics. I just start putting in some power as we come around this corner, just to see how attentive they are. See if I could gap them, make them do a little work to close up the gap. Again, no dramatics, I just start picking up the pace. And I thought, oh, I got a little gap here. Let's make him work. So I stay on the gas. There's Golson up there pulling off. He was kind of noodling along, still biking, not giving up, not having a good day. So when I get away like this, I just stay on the gas. Not a full gas effort, but a hard enough effort that they have to put in some work to catch up to me. So again, out of the left corner of my eye, I can see shadows, and somewhere in here I think they catch up to me again, so I start backing off a little bit. Just to make them get that heart rate up a little bit, burn some of the sugar out of their quads. We get close to the end here. So as we round this corner up here again, it's just a half a lap later. I've recovered a little bit, so I thought I'll put in another little dig here. We're almost to the 40-minute mark. Again, we do 40 minutes plus 3 laps of racing. So I threw in a little effort just to see if they're paying attention and make them get their heart rate up a little bit.
Car up!
And they're clearly still back there. So at the 40-minute mark right here. So once we get to the start-finish line, there's 3 laps to go.
We're over 40. Yep.
So I had a chance to recover. We come around that corner. You can see Big Dog look left a couple of times. There's number 3. Look left again. Look left again. Attack right. Put in a pretty hard effort here. Looks like I hit 1100 watts. That's kind of a lot for me. That's actually the highest I can get. So I speed up to 28.
Car up!
But there were some cars here, so I had to back down a little bit as it came around here. This has never happened before, but suddenly there they were, just after my big effort. So not that I was going to get away, but it certainly made me pause my hard effort there. Yeah, I really wanted to get away from them at this point, but they were sticking to me pretty aggressively. You see my heart rate. I think I hit 174 here. That's the highest I've hit so far on this race.
One more.
One more after this, once we cross one.
Listen to them talking all cool like they're not winded at all. That's an
Boys are rolling.
old biker trick there.
That was fun.
Fun, he says. Yeah, real fun. So, 1 lap to go once we cross the start-finish line up here. So Matt's sitting on the side there. That's the start-finish line for us. We've got
2 minutes. Be right back.
1 lap to go. I'm gonna let this last lap play out. Let you see the last lap shenanigans in its entirety. It only takes about 2 minutes. Big Dog comes to the front again. Looks left. Looks right. Yeah, you don't trust me at all now. Smart man. we're all getting antsy. We're getting close. Lots of looking over the shoulders. And again, this is not the scenario I wanted, but this is the way we ended up. I make a little fake sound to make him think I'm jumping. Didn't work. And now the fireworks start. He's got the 900 watts, but these guys are a little stronger than me. Walking 30 miles an hour, that's pretty fast on a flat stretch of road for me. And this is it, final sprint. Big dog goes wide, I come to the inside. And that's it, that's all I got. 31 miles an hour. Golson's shouting at us. I think they had about a wheel on me. And we believe Jeff was ahead just a tiny bit at the end with the throw of the bike.
I don't know.
My heart rate of 181. That's the highest I've seen this year so far. So that was a very hard effort for me.